Hey, it's Aaron from GameEnthus.com, and today I'm taking a look at Cloud City from Blue Orange Games, designed by Phil Walker Harding, with art by Fabrice ROS. Plays in about 30 minutes. So the premise behind Cloud City is the city council, whomever, wants contractors to come in and build buildings so tall that they reach the clouds. They're going to award points to architects and designers whose buildings not only reach the clouds, but more importantly, they're going to award more points to the designers who can have the tallest buildings with tubes in between them. So they want to reach the clouds, but they're also going to award points based on the length of the tubes that are going to connect those buildings in the clouds. Doesn't make a lick of sense to me, but let's open the box up and see what's inside. I may or may not have used some snack and or sandwich bags to supplement some of the bags and things here. So you have the yellowish, brownish, goldish tubes, green, and then blue. Yeah, these are definitely snack bags. The thing is, I like the dividers here, but they were getting mixed up, and that really bothered me. Don't read into that. And yeah, so I thought I'd put them in snack bags, then I could do a better job of keeping them separated. We have 4 starter tiles here. There are small birds on them. There's a variant in the game for special requests, and that's where these cards come into play. Communal things that either everybody will get penalized for if they do them, or everybody will get points for if they do them successfully. We'll get into that in a second. We have the tiles themselves that are going to have the brown, the blue, or the green on them. And then the buildings of varying sizes. So you have the medium-sized green ones, the really short blue ones, or the really, really tall ones right there. So let me show you how it plays. Okay, so this is just a 2-player setup. So we have the tallest buildings, the medium size, the small ones. I just put a couple on the table. We have a stack of tiles, and everybody has their starting tile. Your hand is essentially comprised of 3 tiles, which you want to probably keep it to yourself. But for this example, you can see them. So you start off with 3 tiles, and there'll also be 3 laid out as well. I just chose 2 examples of some of the advanced cards. Some of them are communal and some of them are the most, like this one is, whoever the most green buildings in the game gets 6 more points. So that one is not communal, obviously, but there are other ones that it's a requirement. So if you build a snake-like shape, then you get points. And then for real challenge is this one is you lose 2 points for every tower that does not have a tube coming from it. Interesting. So you just shuffle those up, pick one, and then everybody would see it and be working towards it or trying to steer clear of it as much as humanly possible. In a 2 to 4 player game, you are building a 3x3 grid of tiles and then the corresponding buildings that will go on them and the tubes that would connect them. So there's a couple of rules. You cannot build, even if you have buildings that are facing each other, you cannot build over a gap. Something has to be there. So you also cannot build through buildings. So this wouldn't work because if you had this here, you could not build through that. As you can see, there's a huge difference in size. Sorry, the angle isn't working out. This is a lot taller than this. See? Can't build through things. You can't have tubes going. They have to be in the same level. You also can only build 2 tubes per building. So you can't have 3 or more tubes coming out of any building. 2 is the max. Those are primarily the rules you have to follow in terms of placement. So your turns are very simple. There's 4 things you can do. 3 of them you have to do. 1 is optional. You also will begin with the buildings that you already have on your starting tile. Excuse me. So there are 4 things you can do on your turn. You can expand, meaning you add a tile from your hand. You have to do that. At that point, you would take the corresponding buildings and put it on that tile. You can optionally place the walkways in between them. You don't have to. It's up to you. You don't have to place walkways, but the buildings have to go there. You have to place a walkway. That's optional. And then the last thing that's mandatory is you have to draw a tile, meaning from one of these three or one from the top of the deck. Let me show you how a couple of turns would go. So based on this one here, I'm going to get 6 points if I have the most green buildings in my city. Also another point, you are building a 3x3 for the most part. The manual does say if you're playing a 2-player game, you can build a 4x3. Thus making the game a little bit longer and just adding some tweaks to it. But ordinarily it would be a 3x3. So let's say I'm going to place this here. And tiles cannot be placed diagonally, they have to be placed orthogonally. So I'll put that there, which means I will get one of these buildings here and here. And I cannot place any walkways between them. So these are going to stay there, but I would draw another tile. And that'll be my turn and replenish. So now over to player 2, they are going to, okay, they're going to do that, sorry. And they are going to place tower here. These are worth, I didn't even show these. These are worth 1. We have 2s. We have 3s. You have 5s. And then, if I can find one in here, you have 8s. So this is where the actual points come from. The points come from the actual, not the buildings themselves, except for some of the special cards. But the points come from the actual size and length of the walkways that are there. Let's leave those out. So I'm on the board. I have a point. And then they would draw a tile. I don't even want any of these. I'm gonna take one from the top. And look at that. I got green. All right, back over to this player. Get on the board as well. So now they have 4 points. So that is a brief overview of how Cloud City plays. My thoughts. I like Cloud City. I think it was fun. It was really easy to pick up, easy to learn, easy to teach. It's a pretty quick game. You can really jump in and go through it really quickly. Making it a 4x3 does lengthen it quite a bit. I like the components. The buildings are really neat looking. And a lot of games where you have something in 3D to manipulate is always kind of fun. And, the textures in the buildings are a little bit different too. There's little touches like that. So I like the components. It's a great game. It looks really nice on the table. Things I wasn't so wild about. One thing, not that I wasn't wild about it, but I don't understand the color choice. For a game that has this kind of table presence, I'm just sort of surprised by just the muted color. I don't understand why there wasn't like an orange or something that pops. I don't know what the reason was for that color. It just seemed, maybe it was just cheaper to make it in this color. I have no idea. Even if I look at the blue-orange logo, it's blue and orange. Boom, I didn't understand like the color choice there. It just automated pop more. For something that is this fun to manipulate with your hands and has this kind of table look and presence, just a brighter color would have made more sense to me. That doesn't affect the gameplay, the mechanics, none of that. It's just an observation. And the special request cards, I'm not sure why this is advertised as a variant. Without these, the game would be maybe a little too straightforward. It's fun either way. However, to me, these are integral. Like, we played with these from the beginning. I guess the other thing is, and it's just the nature of having things to manipulate like this, is it can be a little fiddly. There's a small bit of fiddliness with just placing some of the tubing and stuff like that. Overall, Cloud City, we had a lot of fun with it. It looks nice, plays relatively quickly, a lot of fun. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Stay safe out there, wear a mask, take care, be blessed.